Hey, Sarah. How you doing, baby? She's an angel. You are too. What? I'm not reading it, I'll tell you that.
Hello.
There he is. You feeling better? Well, I heard you were sick. It's all around town. They were gonna send flowers, I said, don't send that jerk flowers.
All right, it is Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. We'll call the City Council regular meeting to order. Harvey Curley, would you like to give the invocation?
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right, so everyone please rise for the invocation given by Councilman Curley, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the things that you have done for us. We ask that you would be with those folks who need your help and are asking for your help. May those folks in the hospital be cured and able to go home. We ask that you would be with us, council, and may we always remember, Lord, that we are here because of the citizens of this beautiful country. We ask all these things in your holy name, Jesus the living Christ. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to start tonight off with a presentation from Sarah Frederick from RARE.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. All right, so my name is Sarah Frederick. I am the Deputy Director at the Recreation Authority of Roseville and Eastpointe. And I'm just going to be doing a quick presentation on some of our upcoming programs we have going on at the Rec Authority. Okay, so in the next couple weeks, we're going to be kicking off our winter sports leagues that we have going on. We are offering basketball and volleyball for youth and teens. We did have our registration end on December 28th, and all leagues did fill up. So we have 423 participants registered for both youth, teen basketball and volleyball this year. Our first special event of the year is Feed the Dream. We are partnering with Live Right Recovery Center, and we are offering or participating in a food drive beginning this month through January 31st with them. But on the 16th of January, we are going to be doing a snack and craft event at the Recreation Authority from 4 to 7 as a drop-in for all families of all ages. It is free. But all the food that we are collecting throughout the month of January is going to support the Live Right Recovery Center off of Gratiot. We do have a drop box that is available in our main lobby. We have a winter craft class coming up as well. Amanda Hughes, our office manager, she does a great job hosting these classes and creates some really cool things for the community to participate in. That's going to be Thursday, January 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. She is going to be teaching how to create a snowman for the winter season. And it is $20 for residents and $25 for non-residents. We ask that you register by January 16th, and we provide all the instruction and the materials for the craft. We have our annual drive-in movie, cardboard box style, coming up as well. We always do this over the kids' winter break as something for the local families to do if they're not traveling anywhere for a midwinter break. So that's going to be on Saturday, February 15th. What we ask is the families kind of bring in a box for their kids. We provide all the supplies to decorate the box to make it look like a car. And in our gym, we put a movie screen on the big wall and everything. So we haven't picked our movie yet, but I do know it's going to be announced shortly. So at 1 o'clock, we decorate the boxes, and then at 2, watch the movie, and we'll have some fun snacks and drinks for the families as well. New this year, we're doing sledding and hot cocoa if it does ever snow. This is a weather permitted one. So we hope for some snow in February for this, but we're going to have staff out on February 22nd from 11 a.m. to noon at the Spindler Park Sledding Hill and then the Huron Park Sledding Hill. So we'll be providing hot cocoa and treats and everything for those that visit us that day. So we hope for snow that day. And then we also, again, have our winter programs newsletter out. We have so many programs starting in the next couple of weeks. We have youth dance. We have all our preschool classes starting, various other youth sports starting, such as tennis, karate. All that's kind of happening in the next couple of weeks and everything. We've got a lot of enrichment programs coming up. And then typically around February time, we'll have more information out about our summer day camp program. And then I know it's not in here, but I just came from our basketball practice for our adaptive league for individuals with special needs. And we have our first game this Thursday at 6 p.m. at the rec center. We have 7 amazing athletes on the team, and it's our first year within that adaptive league. And it's for ages 13 and older. And Warren, Sterling Heights, Shelby Township, and missing one more city, I think Rochester participate in this league. So we are the 10th team to be added to it. So we're really excited about it. And we have a lot of home games this year and everything. So be sure to stop on by and check out the schedule or visit a game and everything. It's going to be a really special program that we have at the rec. And then just to kind of wrap it up again, we have our winter newsletter out. Talking there. And then my contact information is up there if you have any questions. But always feel free to call us at any time. Our staff is very helpful on giving you guys information on everything we have to offer. So, yeah. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions?
No, thank you, Mayor. Just again, Sarah, you are an incredible person.
Thank you.
One can just hear you, the enthusiasm and the dedication that you have for the kids of our communities is beautiful.
Well,
so thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you so much.
Did you entertain questions from the floor?
If you wanted to take his contact
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, I can get your contact information.
All right.
Yeah,
Actually,
I'll get that for
it's
you.
fine.
Oh, you said,
Go ahead.
oh yeah, I can ask a question. So.
I'm concerned, one of your programs costs $25, and Eastpointe is actually a high poverty rate city. And it's expensive for people.
For the craft class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had fees for other classes.
We do.
I'm wondering if you can do something to bring that stuff down.
For sure. So for kids especially, we partner with the Roseville Optimist Club to offer scholarships. And what you do is families can apply for those scholarships for their kids, and they get approval through our department and everything, and we the Roseville Optimist Club pays for those children to participate in. As for adults, it's a little different and everything, but we are always open to offering payment plans and everything for specific classes and programs. But a lot of our programs are definitely more on like the lower end cost and everything for recreational activities. So we definitely try to keep that in mind. And a lot of our special events are free. But that one, we just are really just covering the cost of the supplies to make the snowman. But yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. All right, you guys have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, next we have a proclamation for School Board Recognition Month. Would council join us down by the podium, which will be read out by Councilman DeMonico. And would the school board members join us too?
All right, while we're waiting here a second, I'd like to introduce our school board to the audience here. We've got Shelley Chopa right here, Ed Williams, Addie Richardson, Robert Roscoe, and Darlene Whitby. And let's see, you're treasurer of the board, secretary of the board right now, and I know at the next meeting, we'll be talking about new positions potentially, right? And the vice president, Geneva Early, is not present right now, and then Cassie Grunberg also is the full school board, so. All right, let's read out the proclamation for School Board Recognition Month, January 2025. Whereas the City of Eastpointe recognizes the importance of public education in our community, our state, and our nation, and whereas the City of Eastpointe recognizes the importance of locally elected men and women representing our community in the governance of our school districts, and whereas Eastpointe Community School Board members invest countless hours of their time in service and training to keep abreast of education issues, and whereas the City of Eastpointe recognizes the future of our great land lies in the vision they have and the goals they set for education. Now, therefore, in recognition of these loyal public servants, the City Council of the City of Eastpointe does hereby commend the dedication of the Eastpointe Community Schools Board of Education to our children's education. And be it further resolved that the City Council of the City of Eastpointe, on behalf of the entire community, does hereby proclaim January 2025 as School Board Recognition Month, and urges our fellow citizens to extend personal appreciation to each of the school board members of the Eastpointe Community Schools. Proclaim this 7th day of January 2025. Should we give this to them now?
Sure. Would you guys like to take a photo together?
Yeah.
If you're willing.
Just right over there in the middle.
To Mayor Kleinfeld and City Council and Administration, on behalf of the Eastpointe School Board, we thank you for the recognition to this endeavor, and looking forward to collaborate with you guys and talk about moving the city forward together. All right.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Baker?
Here.
Councilmember Curley,
Here.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Here.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Here.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Here.
Moving on to approval of the agenda, I would entertain a motion, but I would like to add item G under new business, reappointment of Ian McCain to the Recreation Authority.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
All right, moving on to the hearing of the public. The first hearing of the public is now open. Would anyone wish to be heard?
Karen Morajan, Eastpointe resident. Before I forget, Councilman Curley, I was glad to see the story that you were able to work with President Carter. That's amazing. And I haven't seen the flags, but I hope they are being flown at half-mast in honor of his passing. That's really quite remarkable for somebody to go from being a president into just being a world-renowned humanitarian and always thinking about what can one do to make things better in the world. And I truly believe he went above and beyond in doing that. But that said, I want to move into what my passion is and what can I do to make the community a better place, a better world. And it starts with the animals. You know, right now, we're not the only state, you know, in this deep freeze. This is, in regards to what animals can survive in this, it's definitely polar bear weather. They would thrive in this. Wildlife, they're equipped. They know how to seek shelter in this type of weather. My focus is the dogs in our city. And I am still out walking in this horrendous weather. I layer up and I move, and I have to move quick so that I don't feel the impacts. That's not happening with these dogs. They're being left outside. The AVMA recommends, it doesn't matter the breed, the size, no longer than 15 to 20 minutes in these below freezing temperatures. Now, our ordinance states dogs can't be outside when the temperatures dip below 43. I encountered a dog over the weekend. I believe the dog was an Akita or an Akita mix. The poor dog was hunched over, backed up against the door wall, visibly shaking.
30 seconds.
Okay. I called dispatch. The officer came out. The guy finally answered the door and he claimed nothing was wrong. The dog had only been outside for 5 minutes. That is absolutely false. A dog is not going to be visibly shaking like that. So, with that said, we need to do everything we can to get the message out, get the dogs inside. If not, Mr. Albright, during your report, would you kindly inform everyone what the penalty is, the fines and the jail time for violating that ordinance?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to be heard?
Good evening, Council. Happy New Year. I didn't get a chance to get here to tell you that beforehand, but better late than never, I guess as the saying goes. Really appreciate Councilman Curley for getting the door for some of us to sign. Some of us are old enough to remember how President Carter was treated, and it was not deserved. I am truly saddened, Mariah, that you're leaving. I hope that in choosing someone to replace you, great care and exercise, caution, time to think. Because when people do things in a hurry, without giving full consideration to everything involved and all of its ramifications, chances are we screw up. I'm going to be here until they put me in the ground to make sure that Eastpointe moves forward. I know the opposition that I face is nothing new, but I'm a warrior, and I will not be defeated. I want the best for this city, and I hope you do too. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Good evening, Carol Reed, lifetime resident of Eastpointe, Michigan. Happy New Year, everybody. I've been researching a lot about the road diet because I plan on bringing a lawsuit, and I'm going to get other people to join me. The city of Paradise, California burned a couple years ago. A year before it burned to the ground, and most of the residents in the city, they put in a road diet. So when all the emergency vehicles were trying to get into the city, the people were trying to get out, and it was a total nightmare, and the people were burned alive in their cars. So I've been researching a lot on the internet, and I found out LA is not alone. First responders in Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Oakland, San Diego, Phoenix, Salt Lake City, Denver, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Washington, D.C., New York, Boston, and elsewhere report significant impacts of road diets and traffic calming. You know what? You guys don't have the right to do this. You don't have the moral right. This city has been in existence for over 100 years. You're just renters here. You're not here forever. You don't have the right to do this to everybody. And I'm going to fight you all the way, and anybody that joins me, I'm going to gladly welcome them in on a lawsuit against you three people that are pushing this. I'm sick of it, and I don't think it's right. You're infringing upon our right to travel, and I'm going to fight you all the way. I am going to go to all the business owners and get them to join this with me. And I'm just putting you on notice that I'm not kidding around. I'm like Mary, I'm a warrior too, and I'm not giving up on this. I'm not gonna watch my city go down the drain. This is just a local city, but we have to think about the region that we're in. We're at I-94. It's a main thoroughfare from I-94 to get down to the auto plants there. It's not just about little old Eastpointe and a couple miles of road. It's way bigger than that. And if some disaster happens to this city, I believe the fire chief has to give their approval for this road diet to go through, and I don't think you've gotten it. And I don't think the fire chief before that gave it to you, and I don't think the police want it, and many residents don't want it, and we didn't even know about it. So you're hiding it from a lot of people. The splash pad is more important for you to get out there than anything. So I just wanted to put you on notice that I'm coming after you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Good evening. My name is Wanda Moody, Eastpointe resident, and I too am the chair of the ACDC Commission. I was unable to attend the last meeting, however, I viewed it live on video. And during that last meeting, one agenda topic was discussion on appointments to ACDC and the splitting of the commission. And there was two reasons that the council was looking upon to split the commission. The first one was the lack of quorum. And I have came before the committee once before about the lack of quorum. And to state and to think the splitting of the commission would be the best thing to do. If you can't get a quorum with one commission, how can you get it with two? I need you to make that make sense to me. Secondly, my question is, what is the purpose? The council's question should be, what will that benefit the community to split that commission? The one that works so closely together. Also, during that meeting that I was watching online, they stated, or should I say the mayor, made mention stating that art is not part of culture or diversity. That's absolutely ludicrous. Art in all of its forms is an essential component of culture. The issue at hand is not new. ACDC is not the only commission that periodically face the lack of having a quorum. Life happens. We volunteer our time for the betterment of this community. What I find fascinating is why is this particular commission being targeted when there is much bigger fish to fry? As stated by the mayor, appointments are made by him. But please note, during the last meeting, there were council members that stated that they have names of individuals that want to be a part of this commission, but they were never appointed. Assuming the mayor and the council were so overly concerned with ACDC having quorum in order to conduct business, individuals should have been appointed immediately. It is mind-blowing to hear that our elected officials have had the power to fix the matter, and they did not. With reference to the Juneteenth, that was mentioned as not being an art event, but a historical diversity event, was very confusing. Any type of event and a celebration celebrated by this commission falls under the umbrella of art, culture, or cultural diversity. Art is a universal language. Art acts as a vessel to share stories, bring awareness, be it historical or current, and celebrate all cultures. My time is up, but I will be back at the end of the meeting.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Jennifer Nicholas, Eastpointe resident. Happy New Year. I was reading an article in the Detroit News at the end of December. It was talking about different communities and how they are planning to reinvent roads in their suburban cities. And it kind of struck me that, you know, a lot of this has to do with planning, city planners, and this Michigan Municipal League. Seems like they're kind of maybe a statewide entity that informs different communities, planning firms or city planners on how to reinvent cities or make the roads or improve cities. I kind of feel there was a comment to this news article online, which, albeit it was a little bit rude, it said, suburban officials duped into road changes nobody wants except the consultants and engineers creating the hog trough they'll eat from, which again is kind of rude, but I think the underlying meaning of it is kind of in a way true. You know, city planners, planning firms don't have a job if there's not something to reinvent all the time. And I personally think that with planning firms, sometimes they're out of touch with each individual city, you know, planning firms. And I know we're going to be discussing McKenna tonight. You know, they handle many communities throughout the Metro Detroit area and even as far away as Kalamazoo, all throughout the state. And I feel like this cookie cutter planning that we're doing with this complete streets and the safe streets and Vision Zero, and we want to make every community walkable and every community have bike lanes, it's not always applicable to each city. And we've run into a couple of things with McKenna that I've seen here where it seems like they're way out of touch with Eastpointe. Number one was the Kelly Road project, where their first impulse is to take out the median on Kelly Road. You know, for anybody that's lived in Eastpointe as long as I have, I think we can all agree that's the most beautiful part of Kelly Road, and that's actually a very beautiful part of the city. Someone from outside might not understand or see it that way. You know, we had an issue last week where a motion that the Planning Commission approved got brought before the council in a different manner. It wasn't the same as what Planning Commission approved. I don't know if that was an oversight by McKenna or city administration or whatever, but again, it just kind of speaks to city planners not always knowing what's best for the residents and really not making a lot of effort to reach out and get a lot of feedback from all of the residents, not just 2 or 3 people on city council or a steering committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Good evening, council, mayor. Ms. Walton, I too am sad to see you go. I think you're a nice addition to this table. Mr. Mayor, I wish you would throw DEI out the window. I would like to see Miss Walton replaced by a black female from Eastpointe. Eastpointe first. Chief Haynes, your officers, I've been reading, have been involved in a lot of high-speed chases lately, and I gave them my appreciation. Mr. DeMonico, you seem to take offense at some of the things I said at the last meeting about LGBTQ, but I didn't bring LGBTQ to the table. The council did. I don't believe in sex identity politics, but now it's a reality, so we have to deal with it. And in conjunction with RARE, last year you had a promotion involving Taylor Swift, who is on a list of P. Diddy clients. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Raise your brow. But it's true. Until you prove it to me, it's not. And this is a family city, it says here. This is not a P. Diddy smut city. And this is why LGBTQ probably should not have anything to do with the children of the city. As far as the road diet goes, once again, we are looking for economic development. Not, I don't want to call them these roads. I hope you have to add lanes to 9 Mile Road in a year for the economic activity that goes on under Trump. Compared to the policies that Trump is proposing to the policies of, say, Veronica Kleinfeld, who gave $175 million to a Chinese battery factory. We don't want that kind of economic activity. We want to see the auto industry rebuilt to its former form. So, you know, do what you want with the roads, but we're going to rip them up.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I got one more thing to say.
You had a couple seconds, go ahead.
Okay. To the board members of the Eastpointe School, I have yet to see any rebuttal of Christine Gibson's, the comment made by a school.
You have about 20 seconds.
A school commenter that Christina Gibson runs the school system like a crime family. I'd like to see some rebuttal or some answer to that.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? Anyone else? Seeing none, the first hearing of the public is closed. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the regular minutes from December 17, 2024?
Mayor, I would move for the approval of the regular meeting minutes of December 17th, 2024.
Support.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
And can I get a motion for item B, closed session minutes, December 17, 2024?
So moved.
Support.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick,
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes.
Moving on to unfinished, or no, there's no scheduled hearings. Moving on to unfinished business, approval of the police department / court design. Council doesn't mind, I had a couple of thoughts on this one. I had spoken to, briefly before the meeting, Chief Haynes and Judge Galen, and we've had a committee that's been sort of steering the design for this, but we haven't had a lot of community engagement. And I think both would be willing, if in like 3 to 4 weeks, I think it would be a good idea to actually, before voting on approving a design that's such a big project, having something like a town hall here where the judge can speak, our chief can speak, and kind of educate the public about the conditions of the current building and share what we're looking to do or what we're hoping to see and get some feedback. How would council feel about that?
Do you have any idea when you would propose for that to happen?
I was thinking, I mean, I threw out 3 to 4 weeks because I would assume that both of them might want to prepare some comments and find a time that works for both of them. I would be fine with leaving it to administration to just schedule it.
If we waited, I guess I'd ask the city manager if I might. 3 to 4 weeks to have that, and that's a good idea. Is that going to put a wrench into the time that we have?
No.
Okay.
All right, so if everyone agrees,
Sounds like it.
yeah, I would just ask Mariah to set that up and maybe send us a notice when we have a date that works for everyone.
Yeah, Mayor Kleinfeld? I could just add a couple things. I think it'd be good too if Mr. Blum and Ms. Walton could speak about various things too, especially like financing. So we can talk about the $8 million we've gotten from the state and maybe potential options we can consider, things like that, or just higher level things too, anything Ms. Walton would want to talk about. I think it'd be good too. I know some events we've had the printed out boards. You know, you could print out option 1, option 2, all different things, have them out in the council chambers or wherever the event was to be held. Actually, it'd be kind of interesting to see, well, I don't know how that would work. I'm just thinking of this now to see the current building and show actual issues, but that's a whole different thing. That'd be a whole tour, but yeah, if we do it in council chambers, just print some stuff out, maybe some stuff for people to leave with too. Comment, suggestion box kind of thing. I think that'd be good too.
All right. I think we could just move on. I don't think we need a motion for anything on that one. So we'll move on to reports from administration. Our city manager's report, Ms. Mariah Walton.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. First and foremost, I love birthdays, so if you see Darren tomorrow, please wish Darren, our DPW director, a happy birthday. And then I know Councilmember Pashadlik, you're at the end of the month, so make sure you wish Councilmember Pashadlik a happy birthday as well. One of the, I guess, most intriguing things going on right now is Big Boy was demolished, which was a very big move for the city, and we're very thankful for the developers that purchased the property some time ago to finally make moves on that. It was no longer in a state that it could be rehabbed, and working with the planner as well as the building director, they moved forward with demo. It did move quite fast. It actually pulled a permit the day before the holiday, and by the end of the week, it was down. So there was no intention of a lack of notification on council's part or our part. It just did move very quickly, but I'm sure I can kind of mimic the community in seeing some motion on that property move forward. We are hopeful for a mixed-use development, but we don't have a commitment now, so stay tuned to the Planning Commission meetings and the things that are coming forward there for the future developments on that property. The Traffic Safety Commission is back active and has been published and now needs members. So if you're interested, please submit an application for the board commission. We have updated that application, so it's on the website if you're interested in serving on that commission. As shared earlier, there is a President Carter Memorial, the door that is down at the entrance of the lobby, similar to First Lady Ms. Rosalind Carter. They've Habitat for Humanity has posted the board so that people can share their comments in the memoriam for President Carter. So please add your additions there before the end of the month, before Habitat brings that back. Also, RARE has a master plan that is on our current website, on the RARE website, and on Roseville, so it's headed to public hearing. So if you're interested in adding any additions to the RARE master plan, so any recreation plans that we have over the next several years, please take a look at that plan, give feedback. We have a public hearing here at a city council meeting on the 21st, which is our next meeting, and you're welcome to join us there and provide feedback to city council. And last, and kind of least for me, I will confirm that I did submit my resignation as city manager, city clerk, and director of personnel. It's a very hard decision for me.
I love you. We love you. Sorry, here you go.
It's been an honor to serve. We have an incredible team, an incredible community. I've started my family here in Eastpointe and have members of the community that I'm still very, very close to and consider family. So it's a very, very hard decision. But I'm honored to have served here, and a piece of my heart will always be here. And I hate that I'm emotional, especially at work. But I really, really have been honored to sit in this seat. But I also have to do what's best for myself and my family. And there was an opportunity in another community that provides the mentorship that I really need to move forward for my career. It was an incredible opportunity to join another incredible organization, and it's a move that I had to make for myself, but it's certainly very, very hard to leave this community. So with that, Mayor, Council, if you have any questions.
I have a trash complaint. I just want to say I was sad to see the resignation, but I know we love you here so much because you're such a go-getter and you're like that in your own life. I know that you couldn't ignore an opportunity that's in front of you like that. I know that you're going to do great things. And I'm excited to see what you'll do next, but sad to see you go. But she's not gone just yet. We've got some time with her. So I think I'll save the real sappy speech for when that time comes.
Yeah, I agree, Mayor. We have, it's on the agenda that we would accept the resignation from her, so I'll save my remarks for then.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. Sure. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Walton, for all the positive things you've done for the community. And I did have one item not related to that I just want to say thanks for following up on the lead lines email. Didn't have a chance to review it yet today, but I'll take a look at that and appreciate you looking at that because it's, of course, a large and important project.
And I would just say that's the first that I've ever seen that happen, but that is just a testament, a small testament to how people appreciate the hard work that you put in. And sometimes when you're here putting in the late hours, and sometimes it may feel that the work goes unnoticed, that's just proof right there that people see what you do. And you're gonna be impactful no matter where you go. Wasn't how I wanted to start my new year off with hearing the news, but I do understand and support you doing what you need to do for you and your family.
We're going to miss you. I truly appreciate everything that you've done for our city and how positive you portrayed us and put us in the right light and how you've moved us forward. And we're going to be, very sad to see you go, but completely understandable. I mean, you have to do what's best for your family. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Blum.
I'm supposed to follow that. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll save my sappiness for behind closed doors. Just want to give Council a heads up. Did get a meeting scheduled with the county to talk foreclosure. It's scheduled for Monday, and I'll give you an update once it happens. There is a court data gathering exercise going on statewide. In typical Lansing fashion, it was based on a law that mandated the collection that's over a year old. They waited till December 13th to roll out that it had to happen. Didn't send us our access until the week of Christmas, and they've given us till next Friday to finish this daunting task. But the court will be submitting information on caseload, et cetera, and then the funding unit has to supply a significant amount of financial data from revenues and cost and salaries and benefits, et cetera. It'll be interesting to see what they do with this information because the law only stipulates there has to be a data collection and compiling. I know what the intent of it is, but whether it moves forward, we'll see. Just wanted to give you a heads up. But every court in the state, district, circuit, appeals has to do this. And it is currently being worked on, and Eastpointe will meet its deadline. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Our city attorney's report, Mr. Albright.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Happy New Year, everyone. Mariah, congratulations. Hate to see you go. I think we have a couple projects, though, that we'll be working on between now and, the end of a couple months. But I did want to address the residents' statement during the first hearing of the public about leaving dogs outside. The city does have an ordinance. It's section 8-1, care of animals, and it is illegal to leave or house an animal outside when the temperature is below 43 degrees or above 82 degrees. That is a misdemeanor, and it carries a penalty, possible penalty of up to a $500 fine and or 90 days in jail. So I think just as a public service announcement, I think it's good for the public to know that. You can find those ordinances on the Muni Code. You can find it on the city's website, and also I believe they keep a copy of the ordinances at the library as well. So that's all I had, Mayor, other than council's also in receipt of our monthly status report.
Any questions? We'll move on. Thank you. We'll move on to new business, adoption of resolution number 24-19.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. Can I just raise the screens?
Oh, sure.
Thank you, sorry.
The new courthouse should have quiet screens. Adoption of resolution number 24-1995, hardship exemption policy and guidelines. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Or open up to speak about it?
Sure, I'll motion we adopt resolution number 24-1995 to establish the 2025 hardship exemption policy and guidelines.
Support.
All right, go ahead.
Sorry. I just had one brief comment about this. I was just reading through it, and there's one link in here. If anyone is applying, they require a credit report. Go on, if you're looking for a credit report, you can get an actual free one. You probably see these online all the time, but they try to get you to do a free trial or, things like that. If you go to usa.gov, there's one website they'll link to where you can get an actual free report from all three credit agencies, and you can do it once a year. So I'd highly recommend that. I just did it over the weekend too, just to make sure it still was free and all that. But go to usa.gov and get that information. We're gonna provide that on that application so that people aren't signing up for sketchy websites where they say, yeah, free, and then 7 days later they're like, give me your credit card number, all that kind of stuff. So that's all.
Oh, thank you. Did anyone have any questions? Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes?
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Moving on to item B, introduction and first reading of ordinance number 25-1245 to amend chapter 10, article 3, rental housing. Would anyone like to either open up or make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll motion we introduce and give first reading to ordinance number 25-1245, amending chapter 10, article 3, rental housing, and schedule a second reading for the regular city council meeting on January 21st, 2025.
Support.
Any comments from council? Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
All right, item C, schedule a public hearing for the 2025 Macomb County Community Development Block Grant Program.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the scheduling of a public hearing for the purposes of public comment for the allocation of CDBG public service funds and for the selection of projects for the CDBG competitive bricks and mortar project for the February 4th, 2025 City Council meeting.
Second that.
All right. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes?
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Moving on to item D, discussion on in-house planning services. Did anyone on council want to open up? So I had some, and I spoke with Mariah about this, some concerns about changing this to in-house now. I'm a big fan of going in-house. I'm just a little concerned with the transition that we have ahead of us, bringing in a new position and starting to rearrange too many things at once, putting too many things in motion right now. That said, I'm open to the discussion. My thought at this time was, and I don't know the structure in many other cities, if they have a single planner or if most people have a firm. I think at this point I wanted to get a little bit more information from administration because I'm just concerned about, would one person be enough and things of that nature. So I'd like to see how other cities have been faring if they have their own in-house counsel. Does anyone?
Are you suggesting that you would like to have this tabled until our next regular council meeting?
Would our next meeting be enough time to gather that kind? Yes.
I would move so that we would table this item until our next regular council meeting.
Is there support?
Support.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes?
Councilmember Shadlick,
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico,
No.
Item E, receive and file the city manager's resignation. Who would be willing to make this motion?
Wow. I guess it would not be appropriate if we read the letter that she sent to the mayor and the council.
Oh, I would leave that to Ms. Walton.
I am writing to formally resign as city manager, city clerk, and director of personnel. 3 things that she's done. Did you all realize that? Let me repeat that again. I am writing to formally resign as city manager, city clerk, and director of personnel for the city of Eastpointe. It has been a privilege to serve this community, and I am truly grateful for the opportunity. In accordance with my employment agreement, I am providing a 64-day notice. My final day of employment will be March 6th, 2025. Working alongside such dedicated employees has been a rewarding experience. I am committed to ensuring a smooth transition and am available for any discussions necessary during this period. I wish the city continuous success in all of its future endeavors. Mariah Walton. What is the thing is to
Just
receive and file? How do you file somebody like Maria? What do? What are we supposed to do? Open the drawer and put her in there and shut the door? I don't think so. I think the things that she has done for this city is incredible. How strong she is. I still don't know where you're going, but you don't have to tell me because I might do something drastic to that city or send them a letter. But she was always there. There's no such thing, a 9 to 5 for Maria. She'd come in here, it's still dark. I never get up until it's light. I don't know what that experience would be to get up when it's still dark. But she comes in and she starts working and she stays. The lights go off in every part of this building except her office. And she's there. And we all have learned, we all have gotten things because of Mariah. And you really rubbed off on a lot of people. You really have. And I'm not going to cry. No. But Mariah, and I'm sure the other council members will speak, let I'm not going to say I'm going to miss you. That's so, I don't know. Everybody says this, I'm going to miss you. Well, you already know how I feel. I can't tell you folks how many times I've come over here during the week. First of all, to see her, but more importantly, to get chocolate from her. Which happened all the time, So, Mariah, thank you. Godspeed. Obviously, I'm going to be in your office probably at the end of this week for more chocolate, and we'll have fun. But God bless you, and God bless your little baby. Thank you, Mayor.
No problem. There's a motion left that we got to make.
Were you
Oh,
The
were you making
receive and
the
file?
motion? Yeah.
You want a motion?
It-
All right, I'll make, yes, I'll move that the city council receive and file the notice of resignation for our city manager, Mariah Walton.
In legal question, Rich, if we vote no, she has to stay?
Sure.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
No.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld.
Yes. Thank you. Moving on to discussion on interim manager appointment and city manager search. Council would allow me, I'd like to open up on this one. I think our first sort of hurdle is just getting in line who we are going to have lined up to be an interim manager, because I think depending on that situation, whoever's doing it, will influence what our city manager search might actually look like. It came to my attention that our previous city manager has just returned to Michigan. And I did reach out to her. This is what she does now. She does interim periods of time for cities that need it. She said she was open to the opportunity of filling that position for us if we need it. I think having someone who's been here before and can just kind of step into the role would save us a lot of time and effort. And I would like to suggest asking administration to reach out to her, maybe see what kind of agreement she would be willing to do, and maybe bring it back to council. I think it would be kind of a huge chunk of what we got to deal with. It would get it off our plate if we have someone who already knows the ropes.
Mayor, I would agree 100%. I don't know how many people in the audience remember Mrs. Bloom, but she certainly is familiar with the city. She's familiar with the staff. She knows how things work, and I think it would be appropriate for, I don't know what attorney goes through this, but I think it would be appropriate if we sit down, talk to her, and see what she wants to be our intern. I would be totally excited about that.
And I think this one, when I spoke to her briefly, she did mention, I think she does it as not a contractor, as an employee, so I might suggest going to Brandon, or at least having him look at it, and Mr. Blum. Any other comments?
I think that sounds like a good idea as far as getting us through a fairly seamless transition from current to interim. I think that just makes sense. Someone that already knows, the department knows the inner workings. I think that would be probably one of the easiest ways to do it.
And again, I just think if we come to an agreement and indeed she steps into that role, then we know who's finishing the process, so it makes sense then to talk about how we're going to do the search and the mechanics of it, so. Yeah, if everyone's in agreement, I think maybe by next meeting.
So I was just curious, this would just be an interim thing then, correct? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, she's, yes. Yep.
And, Mr. Mayor, what about then talking about a search? Should we get together then and RFP as soon as possible to put out, asking for search firms to help us guide to a full-time manager?
I wanted to go back and actually take another look at what MML does in total, and have kind of a fuller discussion on how extensive of a search we need. I think everyone up here has done a city manager or superintendent search. So I kind of feel like we've, been through the process, so we might need a little less, I guess, paying for guidance and like committees and stuff like that at the beginning of the process to figure out how to go through it, from my recollection anyway.
Sure.
But, I don't know, I figured that, I'm not sure how council feels about, or if council has an idea of exactly how they want to conduct the search at this time.
I think before the firms did offer various like additional things, they'd come in and do a whole, community event too as part of it, or things like that. So we could probably, at least maybe then between now and next meeting or something, we could review some of the previous submissions from those firms and have a better idea, I guess, on what we'd look for.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly a good idea to get started on, I don't know, a list of the companies that are out there. And then once we take a look at it, we can, talk about it. Any other comments? All right, payroll and bills. Would anyone like to make, hold on.
You got item G.
Oh, sorry. Item G, the reappointment of Ian McCain to RARE, which would be for a term to expire in 2028. So I'll make that motion.
Support.
All right, please call the roll.
Mayor Kleinfeld?
Yes.
I did hear Councilmember Pachadlik first. Councilmember, Councilmember Pachadlik?
Yes.
Councilmember Curley,
Yes?
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Yes.
And thank you, Councilman Baker. I didn't write it in, so. Payroll and bills. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Yes, Mayor. I move that we pay the bills in the amount of $1,817,766.21.
Second that?
All right, does anyone have any questions? Please call the roll.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico,
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld,
Yes.
Councilmember Pachadlik,
Yes.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes?
All right, moving on to the second hearing of the public. The second hearing of the public is now open. Would anyone wish to be heard?
I think I forgot to say who I was. I always do that. Sorry about that. But for the record, Mary Hallraver. There was a lot said in the last 20 minutes or so that I wanted to address. But the first thing I think I need to address is the fact that I know quite a few members of the LGBT community in Eastpointe. And I would trust a child of mine with any of them. I'm really, really sick and tired of people making assumptions about other people. That is so totally unjust and unfair to other people. I don't know how in the world someone could complain about somebody's lifestyle that doesn't impact them at all, and yet you put a man in the office of president who's a 34-count convicted felon. Okay, I'm sorry. I tend to get...
Please keep it down when someone's speaking.
a little, I'll
Please
wait.
keep it down. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like I said, I've been up against opposition before. I don't really care what people think of me. You don't pay my bills, so I'm not going to worry about you. But I will not stay silent when other people are attempted to be marginalized by people who have no humanity, no compassion, no empathy. That's not who I am. And I will constantly speak out and speak truth. And I don't really care who doesn't like it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Pastor Albert Rush, Eastpointe Emmanuel United Methodist Church, and Eastpointe resident and chaplain for the Eastpointe Public Safety Department. First of all, I just want to say a word of thanks to Ms. Mariah Walton. The chaplains have met with you on several occasions. I've had phone calls to help with different things to our church. And one thing I want to highlight, just your department occasionally will send us a letter saying your water bill has gotten way high and we pay like $200 or $300 for a month for water and we got to find a leaky toilet somewhere. Just that letter and that concern for the different things allow us to find that out, because it could have went on for months because we did not know it. That's a sign of excellent and wonderful leadership. And also thank you to this administration for coming and supporting our church at our 175th anniversary. It was a wonderful celebration. The city council members came, and Mariah put together a wonderful proclamation, and we're just so very thankful for what you have done. That being said, that everybody knows, and I get a number of comments from people in the city every now and then that on, June 1st hit, and that is Pride Month. Our church will have a big sign that says, Happy Pride Month, because we believe, at least my church, the denomination I'm a part of, believes that all are welcome for God's love, and we need to celebrate diversity in every way as possible, and there should be no hatred whatsoever. And I will leave with a quote. I was watching the service for Jimmy Carter today, and one person said that Jimmy Carter was a young man from a Baptist church going to a conference in Washington, D.C., met an evangelist, and he was so overwhelmed by it. He says, why do you do what you do? How do you love it so much? And he says, because I love God and I love every person that I see in front of me each and every day. Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard?
Okay. Again, Wanda Moody with Eastpointe resident, and I will pick up where I left off. With reference to Juneteenth not being an art event, but a historical diversity event, was very confusing at the least. And any type of event and or celebration celebrated by this commission falls under the umbrella of art, culture, or cultural diversity. Art is a universal language. Art acts as a vessel to share stories, bring awareness, historical or current, and celebrate all cultures. Also during that video, the meeting that I was watching, there was a word that was mentioned that really resonated with me, and that word was passion. I have an ingrained spirit of passion. Every task I undertake is carried out to the highest standard and to the glory of God. My passion as chair of Eastpointe's ACD Commission is to keep nourishing the seed that was sown in 2018 with the ACD Commission. People have alluded to the fact that some of our commissioners are not fulfilling their obligation, which is far from the truth. I am positive that the commissioners currently serving on that commission is fully committed to supporting this community and its cultural diversity. Now, let it be clear, in my opinion, splitting the commission may not be unreasonable. It may be an amazing thing that can happen within the city. However, let's be genuine in making a split. Let's have the community's best interests in mind, and let's not stop at the current process of what we're doing. So if the council unanimously decide to split the commission, the process of creating a new one may take several months to create that new commission, and that will cause this commission to become ineffective. So in the meantime, I would ask Mayor Kleinfeld to quickly appoint interested citizens to that commission. With that appointment made right away, we will be able to move forward, which will enable the commission to proceed with all of the events that is scheduled for 2025. Now, that's great. The next thing I would like to address is when I'm traveling down 9 Mile, I see all of these trees that's in the island that's still there in the sackcloth or whatever. And my question is, if those trees are still sitting there, that they didn't take the time to put them in the ground, are they going to die? And if that is the case, every month when we're having $3 million budgets or $1 million budgets, we are throwing money away. Those trees should be planted. They should not be sitting there to be frozen over the winter months. They should have been taken care of in the summer months. The trash. Trash is everywhere. We're paying employees. DPW need to pick up the trash. And that is all I have to say. Ms. Mariah, congratulations to you. To the council and everyone, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Council, Mayor. At my age, I'm 70. I don't care what anybody does with their sex life, but it doesn't belong in City Hall. Sex identity politics is like fairly new. It's like the last 15 years. If you'd have brought this up 20 years ago, you'd got clocked in the parking lot. But I really don't care what people do in their off time. It just doesn't belong in politics. Ms. Mariah Walton, I did not know you were leaving for another job, so congratulations. And Mr. Mayor, she's the only black woman up here. I would prefer to see a black woman here. Even if you have to have an intern, you bring a black woman in. Even if she doesn't live in the city, she can move into the city. But Eastpointe is a majority black city. And regards to any hiring anywhere in the city, Chief Haynes, all of yous, I would like to see representatives down at the high school searching out candidates for future positions within the city, the police department, the fire department. Maybe we can aid these kids to get on their way in life. It's Eastpointe first. Our tax dollars pay for everything here. And I would like to see these kind of programs hit Eastpointe. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Larry Edwards, Eastpointe residents, council, mayor. I would just like to congratulate Ms. Mariah Walton upon her departure or leaving, and commend her for the task and the job that she has presented to us here in the city. She has far exceeded by far any of the others that I have known to be of Eastpointe city manager, even though there has been at least one other that has been one that done a great job as well, but Mariah even exceeds him and what have you. I can remember upon her getting the job and everybody that accepted her in it, and I can remember those that was against her and what have you. And we got a new council now, and I advise all the citizens to watch and see what we end up with from this time of her departure at that time and what have you. Because she is already, to show you her value, she was sought out. I don't believe there's many people up there that can be sought out. That goes to show you that people notice things, and the people that we have here have not noticed a whole lot of things and what have you. I, on a constant basis and what have you, have made her aware that she's doing a good job and what have you, not just now and what have you. And I know her quality and her value, and now other people are seeing it as well. And I'm sure that you're going to go on to do bigger and better things and what have you, because she was even fought on a tax, on a pay raise a while back, not too long ago. There was those that was against it because they have no vision. They have no capacity, sympathy for anybody, but other than what they have on their agenda or what they have on their mind of what they want to do and how they see other people and what have you. And that's something that is very scary. And that's the reason why I'm determined to continue to fight against that.
You have 30 seconds.
Because it happens too often and what have you. Eastpointe is a good city, but it's standing on its last legs. And we lose people all the time due to city manager and what have you, whether they seek out other employment or whether they're fired and what have you. It's not by accident. It's for a reason and what have you. And so I think we need to start looking at how we are doing other people and what have you. And
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right.
Anyone else wish to be heard?
Jennifer Nicholas, Eastpointe resident. Going back to that article in the Detroit News, they did also reference Eastpointe and the road diet, and Mayor Kleinfeld was quoted in this article as well. While the mayor didn't actually say that the study found reducing the number of lanes would improve safety, the article put that in there anyways. I disagree. Our fire chief disagrees. Our police chief disagrees. Most businesses and residents disagree that reducing the number of lanes is going to improve safety. We've talked about all kinds of statistics. The amount of accidents currently on 9 Mile are a lot lower than I would have even imagined. In the traffic study that was done, I still don't think we've gotten any clarification about the different volumes that were used and why the data doesn't match up from one chart to another chart. I know, people sometimes say that whoever pays for the study gets the results that they want. I wouldn't like to believe that, but we've gone through this several times with the road diet on different sections. AEW, for the most part, on phase 1 and phase 2, had kind of been dissuading us from doing a road diet. But with this phase 3, I don't know if we've just worn them down so much that they're willing to give us the result that some of you are hoping for. I would like to see that addressed maybe in the next meeting or so, what the real results of that traffic study are and what's going to happen going forward. The mayor also mentions about that we know more about how roads act and how drivers participate on the roads, and that's kind of a little bit funny to me because here in Eastpointe, 9 Mile, I don't know if anybody can figure out exactly who's using the roads and how they're using the roads, and I don't think that we're really comparable to other cities where they've done road diets successfully. You have a community here that is telling you they will cut down side streets, they will start using other roads, they will not shop at these businesses anymore, and I don't know why we wouldn't believe them. I take people at their word, so those are my thoughts on it.
You have 30
And-
seconds.
And again, this road diet, when you started talking about it again, it wasn't about safety. We had one council member that thought it would make our city cooler than another city. And I think the mayor talked about bringing young families into the community. I don't think the road's going to do it. I think what we're doing with the school board might do it. I think addressing crime might bring young families in, but I don't think a 3-lane road is the answer. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to be heard? Seeing none, the second hearing of the public is closed. We'll move on to mayor and council reports. Councilman DeMonico.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let's see, I guess, let's see, what should I start with here? For 9 Mile, I guess, some things like regional plans were discussed in some of the public hearing comments. If you check out regional plans, like with SEMCOG, which is basically like the Southeast Michigan coalition of governments, it's like the 7 counties in Southeast Michigan. Or if you check out other resources from like the Michigan Municipal League that was mentioned, a ton of it will support doing things that encourage walkability and less car-driven focused types of things, and would suggest we do a project like this, frankly. It's not going to say the opposite, adding lanes or something like that, if there's a ton of economic benefit. Nobody's gonna walk on a 7-lane road. No one feels safe walking on a 5-lane road that's 45 miles an hour, where at points the sidewalk is literally adjacent to the street. That is not safe at all. Also, some of these, I can't believe we even got to talk about this, but it's sad that some people come up to hearing of the public here and just throw out, insert conspiracy theory here and say, I'm gonna believe it's true until you prove otherwise, and then just state it as if it's fact. I hope more people do not do that, but it's just sad that we have that going on here. Also, one minor thing, Ms. Moody, the trees, the bags are to help the trees. They are planted. They're not sitting there not planted. It does look like that, but they are. So they're not, well, ideally won't die. Obviously, we can't, guarantee that, but they should be all set, and that's to help with them. Yeah, hope everyone had a great holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that, and Mariah, wish you the best on your future endeavors.
Councilwoman Machado.
I'd like to piggyback on some of those sentiments Councilman Member DeMonico had mentioned as well, the conspiracy theories in particular. I do agree with you on that. I'd also like to thank Mariah. We're gonna miss you. It's gonna be very difficult without you, but we do appreciate your service to our community. We're gonna miss the baby even more with all the events. And I'd also like to thank the school board for their dedication to the community as well, and the hard work that they put into our community. Thank you to all those members who did show up today, and as well as those who were unable to make it. It's a difficult job, but we really appreciate it. And that's all I have today.
Councilman Curley.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things. First thing is, in February 6th, I'm going to be 88 years old. And I mention that for what I'm about to say. There's a number of people who I have hurt, who I have disappointed, and I want to try to make amends as soon as I can. It just came over to me that I got a lot less time here on earth than I have had. So I think shaking somebody's hand and saying I'm sorry is something I need to start. Now I want to talk about an incredible president we had, Jimmy Carter. In 2005, Habitat decided to build 35 homes on the west side of Detroit. And they wanted one house to be built by churches. So at that time, at the First Baptist Church of Royal Oak, which I was a member and still am, they called on us. And the three churches that are involved had to pay $20,000 to qualify to work. And then each individual, we paid $100 to work. But we got a hat, we got gloves, we got a shirt, we got all kinds of things. So there was 35 of us standing out in front of the house that we had built so far, and the president's going to come. It's Wednesday about 11 o'clock in the morning. And we didn't know he's the president. So we said, watch for the black limousine, right? Or he's going to come down the road in a black limousine, and then we're going to get started. Well, we're looking down the street, and we see this golf cart coming down. And the person that's sitting in the seat has got a cap on and a red handkerchief around his neck. Well, that was President Carter. He got out of the golf cart, shook everybody's hand, said a little prayer, and then he said, let's get to work. So we did. So I was assigned to paint the bedrooms. And the first bedroom, he came in there, and he's going to put the door frame in. So he's inside the room, and I'm inside the room painting, and he's nailing it up. So a day and a half, we had incredible conversations. Not one word about politics. But I really talked to him about him teaching Sunday school. And I asked him how he felt about that and what drives him to do that. And we prayed and we talked about that. And then I said, well, tell me about your peanut farm. Why did you pick peanuts instead of cotton or whatever? So we had a great time. Not allowed to climb up on the roof anymore. We kept him off of that. And his wife came. She was cutting wood. His daughter was there, and she was on her hands and knees putting the tiles on the kitchen floor. So had a great time. And when everything was done, he went to the 34 or 35 homes and gave every person who was going to be in that house a Bible. And he had a Bible for the couple whose house that we were building. So I tell you that because I am so excited about that when I think about it, and that I got the opportunity to meet a man who was God's disciple. He did what the Holy Spirit asked him to do. Never question it. You know, I know people in our church that do a lot of things, but sometimes they question. He never questioned. So God bless him, and I was hope that I would meet another person of his caliber. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Baker.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to just say this. I know that there were a few things stated that some of our residents present expressed disagreement with, some views and opinions, but in the interest of trying to protect our city, I mean, one, we as a council like to encourage civility amongst each other, but we understand people get passionate about how they feel about certain things. But we also want to be clear that as a council, we are not restricting anybody's First Amendment right because we already got in trouble for that. So I understand that there are some very sensitive things that may be spoken at the podium, but we as a council, even if whether we agree, disagree, or whatever that case may be, want to be clear that we are not trying to restrict anybody's First Amendment right to say what they choose to say during the hearing of the public. This is not an encouragement for anything that was said, and it's not arguing against anything that was said. It is literally just making sure we cover our bases and to be clear clear that we are not trying to restrict anybody's right to say what they are allowed to say at that podium. That being said, Happy New Year to everyone. I hope everybody did have a good holiday. I hope everybody is starting their new year off right and good, healthy. And Mariah, I ask that you please do not be mad at my no vote to accepting your letter of resignation. With that, that is all that I have.
Thank you. So I guess first, I really did have a comment about trash. So I'll go back to that and just say, perhaps tomorrow morning, coming here next to, what's it called? Ray's Boom Boom Room is a new name now, but just a ton of trash was outside the street right in front of the bar. It looked like someone had just threw bags out the window of their car or something. So if we could check on that in the morning. Regarding the ACDC committee, and after this meeting, Ms. Moody, I hope I can have a conversation with you. My intention with that discussion is not an attack on the committee or the committee members. Since its inception, I thought the broadness of the commission was, well, I saw it was confusing for members. When we first created that committee, I was the liaison. And I just saw as the new members were trying to sort of check every box with everything they did. And it just seemed almost like restrictive. They felt like they had a mandate of, I need to deliver on these certain things. And I don't necessarily think that was a wrong or right reading of the language in there. Like you said, it's a broad umbrella. My thought process was making two committees that have more narrow focuses. Some people like to have kids go to the park and do hand painting prints on rocks or something, and someone else wants to work on, like a speech or an event. And art and culture and diversity all overlap, but there's some people that might want to do one and some people that just want to do the other. And I think that's where I was coming from. And I imagine there would be members that are on both committees. And so I apologize for that. And you said that I, quote, stated art is not part of culture or diversity. I clearly misspoke if that's actually what I said, because that's a silly thing to say. So again, I'd like to talk to you more about it, but it's not an attack on the committee at all. Mariah, I'm not going to say too much tonight. I'm very glad to see that you're heading in a positive direction. I hope, Rob, you don't mind. I know, Harvey, you're like, I'm not going to ask. Rob, funnily enough, said to me, well, I'm respecting her privacy. I had the exact opposite reaction. I called her and I was like, what are you doing and where are you going? Because in my mind, I was thinking, if it's a problem here, we can fix it. But it's not. Something good somewhere else, so we can't keep you from that. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Curley.
Yes.
Councilmember Baker.
Yes.
Mayor Kleinfeld.
Yes.
Councilmember Shadlick.
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned at 8:31. I forgot to thank the school board.